Okay, this is going to be a shorter stream, but it's time for the trial. I made a list of the odd things that we didn't note down in evidence that might come up. I guess as they appear, I'll have a look at my list, but let's just get straight to it. Actually, 1 minute, let me see if I had something else written down. I thought this investigation, like the final investigation, I thought it was pretty good. I'm very interested to see how they managed to make the whole trial feel relevant to this case of this random murder. And on that topic, I guess one difference that stuck out to me was the way Shitakumi, in his typical style, this final case isn't some extravagant, like, oh, Lord Strongheart died. Like, he could have easily have done something stupidly crazy like that. But yeah, I mean, like, if you compare it to something like Spirit of Justice, where the final case is just so absurdly, like, over the top. Yeah, I'm very interested to see how his style of sort of a more low-key incident, but just sort of looking at like the intricacies of a small world. I don't know. I can't think of the words I'm trying to say. But yeah, let's play the video game. Let's do it. Steam. Let's go. Whoa. That core theme, I think, is one of my favourite things in the soundtrack as well. I'm glad we got to hear that a fair bit yesterday. Let's just go for it. So yeah, we left off with the Sherlock Holmes, or Sherlock Sholmes and Usato scene. Yes, okay, yeah, I remember I read these like 2 lines. I also like how Susato has been handled in this final trial, or like final case. Because we could have easily have done like a Maya thing, right? Where like she's just there the whole game. It does make it feel a bit different. Like that final investigation felt very different than the others, because Sherlock Holmes wasn't there, and Susato wasn't there. So it gave it a whole different vibe, and I think that worked really quite well. It differentiated it from sort of monotony of the Ace Attorney formula, having a change up in characters like that. Getting to see more of Iris and Gregson. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, let's see how Shitakumi has written this trial for me. When I awoke the following morning, Susato-san was already gone. Outside the window, the rain came down in sheets. So began an even longer day than the last, one that I would remember for the rest of my days. Good morning, Gina. One of the things on my list was the small box. I'm thinking maybe that small box is the music box that can play the discs. That would feel like... I mean, how else can they bring in the music box that can play the discs, other than it being that small box? I'm not sure. So I think at some point in the middle of the trial we're just going to have to figure out where it is and try it out. Some like hidden secret message in it. But yeah, let's see how this goes. Good morning, Gina. I'm determined to prove your innocence today. I'm sure we can do it. So where's your friend then? Sorry? You know, her in the fancy dress. Susato, or however you say it. I don't know. Ah, Miss Susato had to leave early this morning. She was already gone by the time I woke up. You alright with that, are ya? Forget about me if you like. Go and see her off. It's fine. It's not as though Miss Susato and I won't meet again. One day. Even so. It's you, Gina. You only get one chance. This trial today is all we have. Good morning, you two.
Good morning.
That was very wrong.
Good morning, Yoto. How are you feeling, Ginny? Did you manage to sleep? Meow. Iris, what are you doing here? What do you mean? When a friend is in need, we show our support. Isn't that right, Waggy? Meow. Ah, Waggy.
Great way to show your support, Kitty.
Let him have a nose around. What harm can it do? Oh, that reminds me. I brought a paper on the way here. Now, would you like the good news or the bad news? What do you say, Runo? Ginny?
Oh, well, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first.
Nah, always take the good news first.
That's not... That is slightly Australian. That is not right. Wow.
Nah, always take the good news first. You might not live to hear the bad. Yes. Oh. Hello. Yes, that question always gives away people's personalities.
Let's not go there.
Alright then, I'll give you the bad news first. A record amount of rain has fallen this morning, and carriages all over the capital are struggling to move.
Huh? The bad news was a weather report.
So I hope that Susie made her train to Dover, and that the train isn't delayed on its way to the port.
Oh. Gosh, yes.
Alright then, so what's the good news? Well, the rain is forecast to subside this afternoon. So even if the train is delayed, it should be able to make up the time later. Well, that is good news, isn't it? I couldn't give a monkey's, really.
If only all good news cancelled out the bad.
And look, this trial has made the headlines too. Pawnbroker perishes in pick-purse plunder. See? How'd you like that? Well, let them say what they want. See if I care.
I can't, because you're covering your face.
Don't worry, Runo will soon show everyone that this headline is nonsense.
I will.
And then, in tomorrow's papers, the headlines will be... Discarded diver is dauntless do-gooder. Isn't that right, Runo?
Oh, yes. Let's hope so.
Of course they will. I have absolute faith in you. How was that? I was trying to sound like Susie. Did it work? Did it?
Like she was still here.
Good luck then, Runo. I'll do what I can.
Hmm?
Obviously, I don't know the law like Susie does, but still. I'll be by your side the whole time, giving you moral support and encouragement.
I'm not sure that big thing is as comforting as you think it is, to be honest, but... Thank you, Iris. That's very kind of you.
Oh yeah, Iris? Yes, Jenny? Well, I was wondering, is all, about Sholmes. Did they fix him up all right? Yes, the operation was a great success. But Burley still hasn't come around yet.
That's just false.
Eh? I've asked a friend of mine at Scotland Yard to send a telegram as soon as he wakes up.
I'm sure Gregson will let us know the moment there's good news. Or the moment there is news. It might not be good news, but still.
Oh, right.
No Susato-san, and no Mr. Sholmes. Wow, it's almost like I made a comment about this very fact just like 5 minutes before I started playing the game. It's all down to me today, to prove that Gina is innocent of this crime. Miss Gina Lestrade, counsel for the defence. The trial's about to begin. Please make your way into the courtroom.
It's time then.
Yes, let's go, Gina. Iris.
Lead the way, Bruno.
Check that the stream is healthy. Looks like it. Poor Gina. She's trying to put on the brave face, but I can tell she's worried and scared. I have to believe in her from start to finish. That's the weapon that will secure our victory here. If I learned anything from my great friend, it's that. Your ice cream van? One thing we didn't talk about in this investigation was the prosecution. And I think it is really weird that this is, I think, the only game in which the prosecution has never appeared outside the courtroom. Unless something weird happens in this trial. Which it probably will. But we shall see. I think it's going to be interesting. How are they going to give Barak Van Zyke's character development in this trial? I'm not... Maybe not even character development, but just sort of expand on his character in this trial. I'm not sure. But I guess we're about to find out.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare the court to be in session. This trial shall determine the guilt or innocence of Miss Gina Lestrade. Now, I call upon the counsel for the prosecution and the defence to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is ready. The defence is ready.
Lord Van Zykes,
My lord?
remind me, how many years ago was it that you withdrew from the public prosecution service?
It was some 5 years ago, my lord.
Yes, and then 2 months ago, you resurfaced somewhat unexpectedly, and here you are again today. There's some circumstances which the court should be aware that have led to this erratic behaviour. In what one might describe as your former life 5 years past, you dealt exclusively in matters concerned with the highest echelons of society and government.
Really?
Yet today, you choose to try a simple case of burglary and murder. I confess I find it more than a little befuddling, counsel.
This might be related to the other case that Scotland Yard is looking at. Like why he's active. There are 2 types of person I cannot abide. Firstly, those wealthy scoundrels who hide behind a mask of philanthropy to cheat at the public at large.
He means Mr. McGilded, who you defended against the raper 2 months ago.
Yes, I just about managed to work that out. Thank you. She's almost below the bench. Magnus McGilded. If I'd known what a monster he was, I never would have defended him. And secondly, even more loathsome, those wily scoundrels who masquerade as allies, only to effect total betrayal in the final hour. In other words, the confidence tricksters from those tiny islands in the Far East, the Nipponese. What? Did he really just say that?
He means you now, Rono.
I actually managed to work that out too. Thank you, Iris. Total betrayal? What are you talking about? That torrid look of hatred in Lord Van Zykes' eyes. They spelt Zykes wrong. You don't put an S after an apostrophe when there's an S before it, you just put the apostrophe. Was that directed solely at me? Or was he talking about all Japanese people?
An alarmingly scathing explanation, Lord Van Zykes. Still, the judiciary welcomes the return of the so-called Reaper of the Bailey, feared by all London's malefactors.
Your lordship is too kind.
Now, jurors, the 6 of you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people in this trial.
Just a casual Russian revolutionary in juror number 6. That's totally not going to be relevant at all in this trial. Holy crap. Villain Bolshevik. Wow. This is crazy. So we got Garadub, returning juror from chapter 3. New juror. Returning juror from chapter 4. Returning juror from chapter 3. Wait, does that mean there's 2 character models that we only saw like in a moment in chapter 4, right? Like at the end of the investigation in chapter 4. There was the long-faced rich dude, and there was the like stoutly faced, big bearded, big haired man who was quite old and weird, right? How are they going to be relevant in this game? I have no idea. I can see how this is going to get crazy. I mean, look, if he's here, that's insane. That's actually insane.
Are you ready to hear the evidence placed before you and determine the guilt or innocence of the defendant?
Oh my god, the Garadub voice. I've got to do the Garadub voice again.
Former lieutenant of the British Army here. Don't you know? Chaps, he says bally a lot. There we go. You don't know. You know. Chaps like me were born ready.
Clean crockery, clean cutlery, and clean conscience. His lordship's motto is very appropriate here, I think.
Okay, the stereoscope is going to be relevant. Thank you, juror number 3. What voice to give this guy?
Everything will be stereoscopic in the future. Absolutely, absolutely everything. And I'm ready for it.
I don't understand it. I can't have left it in there. It's not possible. But could I have?
Why is this dude a doctor?
Women indispensable in society. Stop. Female-centric future awaits. Stop.
Is that Morse code? I know Morse code, sort of, but I can't read that too fast.
Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please. Not to blow it up.
Something wrong, Rune?
Oh, not exactly. It's just... I'm fairly sure I recognise these jurors. Almost all of them, in fact.
Really? Funny coincidences like that do happen from time to time, don't they? But it's quite strange. The jurors are chosen at random from London's 6 million inhabitants, you know?
Yeah.
Kinda crazy that a video game developer just so happened to choose the same, like, 20 people, like, 3 times.
But I've been led to believe. Something tells me I'm being duped. Actually, yeah, fair point. Rather than explaining it with, we can't be asked to draw models, let's explain it with, there's some weirdness going on.
Very well. Now, Lord Van Dykes, the court calls upon the prosecution to introduce the facts of the case.
As you wish, my lord. Allow me to begin with a word of warning to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. In short, there has never been a more self-evident case of cold-blooded murder. The victim, Mr. Pop Windybank, proprietor of a pawn shop on Baker Street, was shot from behind and died instantly. The prosecution presents this photographic print of the crime scene. Dun-da-da-da. That looks exactly the same as when I saw it. And as the court will observe, there is a single bullet wound just below the gentleman's left shoulder. The evidence suggests that the bullet pierced the man's heart, resulting in near-instant death. It looks like it was a point-blank shot from the burning marks around it. Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner. His report states that the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. So from below, at an angle, point blank. Can you shoot yourself in that way? That's going to be important. Oh, I can't view it. No. Oh my god, I haven't read through all the evidence. Whoa, okay. Whoa. There's a lot of shit to read. It was in below his left shoulder, on a rising diagonal trajectory. You can shoot yourself like that, but it would be so weird. And he always pointed his gun to his head, so... And he's right-handed, right? I'm trying to remember if he would hold the gun to the left or the right. I think he was like that. Okay. So yeah, that seems unlikely, but you know it's going to get brought up at some point, because I don't see how many false theories can be brought up other than suicide. And we can't just go straight to the right theory from the start, whatever it may be. His report states that the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. And what's that supposed to tell us? It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Someone like the accused, you might say.
Oh!
The prosecution wishes to present the autopsy report and the crime scene photograph as evidence, my lord.
Indeed. The court accepts. Hand them to the bailiff, please.
I now ask the court to turn its attention to the plan of the establishment where the incident occurred. Okay, there was no extra bit of room behind that shelf then. The proprietor was found in the storeroom where he kept his articles, articles pawned to him. A windowless room with a single point of entry, a door to the main shop that was found locked. This sealed chamber, there were only 2 persons present. The victim, Mr. Windybank, and the accused. It may further interest the court to know that when the accused was discovered at the scene, she had in her hand the gun used to fire the fatal bullet.
Well, that's that then, isn't it? Nothing more to say. That grubby little girl a pickpocket anyway.
He's one of those filthy drabs that live in the slums in the East End.
Oh well, it was only a matter of time before she got blood on her hands then. What are the jurors waiting for?
Objection. We can't jump to conclusions here. We mustn't assume her guilt just because of what she has to do to survive.
My learned Nipponese friend, it is you who mustn't jump to conclusions. Prosecution has barely begun presenting its case. Conveniently, this appalling act of murder did not go unobserved. There were witnesses.
Good gracious!
After their testimony, this girl's true nature will be exposed. Pitiful pick purse or cold-hearted killer. Here's to establishing the truth.
The court will take the floor plan and firearm into evidence. Hand them to the bailiff, please, Lord Van Sykes.
At once, my lord. Windy Bank's gun. This isn't good.
Oh, I feel like the mood in here has turned very gloomy all of a sudden, Runo.
I think that's because it has. Taking his cape off early, I see. Let us begin. Bring forth the witnesses to the foul murder of Mr. Pop Windybank on 16th of April of this year. Right, first we're looking at the evidence, though. We already read all of this stuff, I think. But, let's see. Yeah. One small box. Could be a music box, might not be. Stereoscopic print number 1. That's going to come up at some point. The stamp is slightly faded. There's no way that's not intentional. But the stamp on this one is slightly more faded than the... Maybe we're going to do that to say that this one was written first. Wait, hang on. £10:30 PM on 15th Feb. Oh, okay. No, we can prove that he dipped the stamp back into the ink between the 13th and the 15th. I'm not sure how that could ever be possibly relevant, but sure. Which one is the left and which one's the right? This one is left eye, I think. How is this going to be used in the trial? I have no idea. Maybe because it isn't signed in her handwriting? It's signed in Susato's handwriting, which is a problem. She could all of a sudden turn around and say, I didn't sign that. She wanted to. Okay. This has got to be relevant somehow. This is to do with like the whole mega plot, the overall plot. It must be. The Hound of the Baskervilles.
That's right. I used Daddy's notes to write it. I think it's a great story. I don't know why Hurley's forbidden me to publish it.
No, it's strange, isn't it? Perhaps it's a problem with the title. Perhaps Mr. Sholmes is a family friend of someone who has that name or something.
Well, it doesn't have quite the same ring to it. I could change it to the Hound of the Narrow-Hodos.
I'm fairly sure that Mr. Sholmes is a friend of someone who has that name too. This blood, I don't think it's Sholmes' blood, because this is an extra bullet. There's the bullet inside Mr. Sholmes that got extracted, and this bullet here. And Mr. Sholmes wasn't standing by the door. I know that Van Zykes is going to laugh when we use this. He's going to be like, oh, that stupid little toy gun that this little girl uses. You can't submit that as evidence. Something like that. Case summary. Victim found deceased on the last scheduled omnibus of the day after a stab wound to the abdomen. Mason Milverton. Oh, that's his real name. MM. It was... Wait, no. It could have been his knife. Mason Milverton. That's going to be relevant. Might have been his knife. It might have been suicide. No. Suicide, how would the blood have gotten Gilded's jacket? Lives in the East End. Van Zykes. Yeah. Yeah. 3 eyewitness testimonies. Okay, sure. Morning's paper. Ministry mole. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice. That seems relevant.
There's a sensational story lower down on the front page as well, look. Ministry mole. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice.
For a 10-year-old, Iris certainly has her finger on the pulse of the world news.
It's about secret communications between Great Britain and its allies. Apparently, they're being intercepted by hostile nations.
Communications are being intercepted? But how would somebody be doing that? Maybe the communication from Japan to here about Susato's father was intercepted. I don't know how that might be relevant, but...
That's the question, isn't it? I've come up with 3 different possible methods so far. Are you looking for a new career, Runo?
No, of course not. I wonder. Perhaps this is what Lord Strongheart was talking about yesterday. True?
Yes, it could be. And it could explain why he has Gregsy running from pillar to post at the moment.
Okay.
Pawnbroker perishes in pick-purse plunder. How awful. Virginia, I mean.
Tomorrow's headline will be, Discharged Diver is Dauntless Do-Gooder, right?
Yeah, something like that. If possible, I'd like to go even bigger.
Bigger? How?
Proud pickpocket protects planet post-trial, perhaps?
Protects planet?
Oh, I can't wait for tomorrow now. It's going to be great.
Nothing in between here. Okay. Fort prepared by Scotland Yard. Death due to single bullet wound. No other signs of trauma. Reporting party me. Classic. Classic. You know there's going to be a moment where, like, my own testimony or my own recollection is important. Because that's just how it is, you know. 1 AM to 3 AM. Dr. Stevens. Not sure how that could be relevant. Wait, is that the old man in the jury? It totally could be. Nothing's stopping it. Single bullet wound. No other visible signs of trauma. Body from back on a gently rising diagonal trajectory. Okay. Okay, let's think about it. Maybe he wasn't standing when he was shot. Maybe he was already on the floor. Right? But then why doesn't he have any of the visible signs of trauma? I don't think, however, how else can you get a rising shot without being shorter and aiming upwards? You're taller and you use only your lower arm, I guess. If the killer was on the floor, maybe. Something like that. Okay. See, I think this is like proof that it was close. It was close by, like it was a point blank range shot because of the gunpowder stain. He also didn't bleed from the back, and I'm not sure if that's relevant or if it's just the way that bullets work. There is this bit of area here that's like, why is the shop like this? Is there something behind this wall, perhaps? A secret passage or something? Or this area here, a secret passage? Interesting. Here's the gun. The trigger, nothing on the barrel. Cylinder. I don't know gun words. Is it the cylinder? The chamber? Cylinder. Thank you, game. This is Mr. Windybank's gun. The cylinder is completely empty.
Mr. Windybank always used to keep this gun to hand on his shop counter.
Yes, but only ever with a single bullet loaded, I understand.
That's right. Keep all the pawned articles in there. Keep all the pawned articles that were in his care safe.
It is when one bullet was fired that night, and the poor man lost his life. Was he protecting his shop, I wonder? Trying to keep the article safe? Yeah. That's a whole question. Like, what was he doing? That's nothing. There's nothing else there, then. That's that. All right. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. Apples and pears. Okay. Oh, 2 new voices. Names. Oh, I don't want to just do the same voices over and over again.
Name's Nash Skulkin. Name's Nash Skulkin. Occupation is, baddie. Professional baddie.
What's wrong with this water? Name's Ring. No. Name's. Just give him a deep voice just as I laugh.
Name's Ringo Skulkin. Occupations, same as him.
No, that's too similar to. I already forgot the first guy's voice. Nash and Ringo.
Name's Ringo Skulkin. Occupations, same as him. Oh, Tobias Gregson, Scotland Yard Inspector. That's right. They're what they call.
The 3 Skulkin brothers.
What are you looking like me at that for? Don't lump me in with you lot.
This water is a bit weird, actually. I don't know what.
Don't lump me in with you lot. God, blimey, that's cold. Don't you know what we're going through? It's our older bruv. Lost contact with him. We have.
I'm going to get some new water. 1 minute. I am going to get some new water. Okay, hopefully that's better. Let's try it. See if I die of poisoning. Oh, that's so much better. Okay.
It's our older bruv. Lost contact with him. So we're scouring every shady corner of the capital. And then last night, we come across you. The very spit of the bloke. Ain't that right, Ringo? He is, Nash, he is. The very spit of him. So we decided there and then what we was going to do. We was going to call you Big Bruv Sulky. Come on, leave it out, Yoto.
Sulky Skulkin. And that's before he's run out of chips.
Well then, Inspector Sulky Gregson. Begging your pardon, my lord, but the name's Tobias. What I would like to know, Inspector, is what you were doing in the witness stand.
The Skulkin brothers are currently under arrest, my lord, on suspicion of theft.
Thieves, are they? These three? No, my lord, begging your pardon, but please don't lump me in with this lot.
2 nights ago, these two brothers illegally entered an establishment with intent to burgle. And in the course of their nefarious activities, they became embroiled in a far more sinister crime.
By Jove, you mean to say, what an extraordinary coincidence.
Indeed, my lord, while attempting to burglarise the pawnbrokery, they witnessed its proprietor's murder.
Oh dear, oh dear.
The various trespasses of these brothers is not the subject of today's proceedings, though they will naturally face trial in the very near future.
With your lordship's permission, I'd like to remain in the stand to keep these gents on the straight and narrow. Of course, Inspector, sceptical as I am about the caliber of these witnesses, I will permit them to take the stand.
Stand. Mr. and Mrs. Skulkin. Oh, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you will now testify before the court. Describe the events of the night in question and what exactly you saw.
Happy to.
Because
a skulkin's never skulking. Get out of it.
a missing third brother. We'll see.
We was walking down Baker Street in the small hours, and the gaff's door was ajar, you see. It was like some kind of sign, begging for us to go in. It was. But once we got inside, God blimey lummy, we heard a gunshot from the back room. We went to see what was what, but the door was locked from the inside. We never done nothing, Governor. We never took nothing. We just left after that, nice and quiet. A terrible coincidence, it would seem. At the precise moment, these miscreants entered the property, an even more sinister crime was afoot.
The witness's testimony is consistent with the crime scene in every detail. Minus Mr. Sholmes being shot, and the broken gas lamp. The door providing access to the storeroom from the main shop was indeed locked from the inside. Why was Mr. Windybank even here at this time? Why didn't he go home? And within, only the victim and the accused were found.
I must say, it does appear to be an overwhelmingly simple case. Still, the defence may cross-examine the witness now, of course. Counsel, if you please. Counsel?
Yes.
What's the matter, Rono?
Sorry, I was just stunned into silence for a minute by the blatant lies being told by that pair in the stand. I know that it's all nonsense, because I saw it with my own eyes. I'll just have to expose their testimony, for the pack of lies it is.
We was walking down Baker Street in the small hours, and the gaff's door was ajar, you see.
Hold it. The front door of Windybank's was ajar, you say. What time of night was this?
Must have been about 1. Right, Ringo?
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Mr. Mr. Ringo Skulkin, do you have something to add?
Hey? Hey? What?
Something was said just now appears to have got you thinking.
Oh, well, yeah. I was just thinking about me bruv, Sulky.
Oh, the one you've lost touch with?
Yeah, blimey. He could be a saint sometimes, that one. Always used to give me a share of his grub when he had anything to eat. When we had anything to eat.
Sounds like a very kind man.
Get out of it. These chips are mine. I'm not sharing.
Hold it!
Must have been about one. Right, Ringo? Yeah, I'd say so. Right, Sulky? How would I know? The place would have been shut at 1 in the morning, like every other shop in town.
Well, it was... Fucking hell. It's hard to do Gregson's voice at the same time as these two. Maybe I need to change up.
Well, it was pitch black inside, it's true. Ain't that right, Ringo? I'm not so sure, Nash. I seem to remember a little light burning inside. What about you, Sulky, me old mucker? Leave me alone.
There definitely was a small lamp burning inside. That's what alerted us to the situation in the first place. And when these gentlemen ventured into the open establishment, the accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, already had the muzzle of her gun trained on the unfortunate victim.
Objection!
Objection! That is pure conjecture. Perhaps, but it changes nothing. These brothers inadvertently wandered into the middle of a cold-blooded murder, simply because they found the door of the victim's establishment open and ventured inside.
Right, that's what happened.
No, that sounds like too much like Gregson. These two are annoying.
It was some kind of sign, begging for us to go in, it was.
Hold it!
Hold it! What are you trying to suggest? That you had to go in?
Well, God moves in a mysterious way.
No. New voice. Maybe a bit more airy.
Well, God moves in mysterious ways, they say, don't they, Ringo?
Yeah, that's alright. I'll do airy voice.
Yeah, they do, Nash. They do. Must have been some sort of providence, I reckon.
God's will often presents itself as the whim of thieves, does it?
It weren't no...
Oh.
It weren't no whim. I'm dead sure of that. It weren't, Nash. It weren't. Like we said at the time.
Excuse me!
Mr. Nash Skulkin, do you have something to add?
Hey? Hey? What?
Something that was said just now appears to have got you thinking.
Oh, well, yeah. I was just thinking about me bruv, Sulky.
Oh, the one you've lost touch with?
Yeah, go on. It could be a nasty piece of work sometimes, that one. He always used to nab me sharing the grub when we had anything to eat.
He does sound like a very mean man.
Oi, what are you looking at me for, sunshine?
Hold it!
It weren't, Nash, it weren't. Like we said at the time. You don't just find doors open in the middle of the night like that. Nah, there's no two ways about it. It was a sign that our long-lost brother was inside.
They're not very good liars, are they?
Well, you can't deny it. It led us to a bloke that looks just like our brother. I said, cut it out.
Those chips are getting a chomping today.
But once we got inside, Cool, blimey, lummy. We heard a gunshot from the back room.
Hold it. A gunshot, you say? Just the one? Are you sure about that?
Yep, just the one, Governor. I can swear to that. It was, Nash, it was. Ain't that right, bruv? The firearm used belonged to the victim himself.
Yes, Mr. Windybank always goes to leave his gun lying around on the counter.
Right, I remember.
When we examined it, we found the revolver was completely out of rounds.
That makes sense. Mr. Windybank always used to say he only ever kept a single bullet loaded.
That's true. I remember him saying that as well.
So we can say with considerable certainty that only a single round was discharged from the firearm used as the murder weapon. Yes, my lord, we can.
And I should remind the court that the firearm in question was discovered in the hand of the accused. Wonderful.
We went to see what was what, but the door was locked from the inside.
Hold it! Do you mean the door between the main shop and the storeroom? If my learned friend is having difficulty grasping the situation, perhaps a drawing would help. Excluding the shop's entrance from the street, there is only one other door, that of the storeroom. There could easily be a hidden passage behind one of those massive shelves.
Of course there was only a little lamp burning, little oil lamp burning, not much to see by. And the door was hidden behind a curtain and all.
That's right. When we arrived, the door was most certainly obscured by the curtain. Tell me, why exactly did you try to open that door?
Eh?
Any normal petty thief would run at the sound of a gunshot, I should think.
Oh, your turn to rabbit, Ringo. Well, Nash, yeah. I suppose. You'd have to say we ain't normal, eh?
Broadly speaking, humans respond in one of two ways on hearing a gunshot or scream. The timid flee, gripped by fear, while the courageous investigate to see if they might help. Oh, thank you for calling me courageous for chasing after these guys. These gentlemen are of the latter inclination. My learned Nipponese friend, it would seem, is of the former. All right, somehow I just proved that I was a coward that night.
Thank you, Counsel. So I believe we all understand that the door was locked and could not be opened. Proceed, witnesses. We never done nothing, Governor. We never took nothing. We just left after that, nice and quiet.
Hold it! You didn't do or take anything. Is that your story?
Well, it was bedlam soon as, weren't it? It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull out me jokes like out me lucky Lucy Lockets pockets.
So with no time to take your hands out of your pockets, you just left nice and quietly, you say?
That's right, Governor. We ain't nothing more than violence. Peace-loving nibblers we are, not bludgers. We are, Nash, we are. It never even pulled me jokes out me Lucy Lockets.
So you'd clearly like us to believe.
Aye, come again.
As you fled from the pawnbrokers that night, did you not run into anyone else? And did you not fire a gun at the person?
Saints alive, they fired a gun, you say? Blimey, Governor. You ain't telling us it was you in the doorway?
It was.
Why, the blue Nora. Didn't you mention that before?
You were armed with a gun, and as you fled the scene, you fired that gun at London's greatest detective, Sherlock Sholmes.
They shot the great Mr. Sholmes? I did hear that, actually. There'd been a rumour he'd been rushed to hospital. Great Sholmes? That's beyond the pale.
On the night in question, this pair were arrested by the police within minutes of the discovery of the crime scene. Their suspicious countenance rapidly gave them away. And when searched, a firearm was indeed found in their possession. Furthermore, the barrel shows signs of a shot having been fired from it. The prosecution invites his lordship to examine the firearm recovered from these brothers.
Yes, indeed. Remnants of powder around the muzzle, as you say, Counsel. The court will hold this weapon as evidence.
They don't have one each. Interesting. Now, my learned Nipponese friend. Yes! Here's to you successfully presenting the evidence. For yes, there are telltale signs of spent powder on this gun and a single bullet missing from the cylinder. The prosecution demands evidence that it was fired at the scene of the crime under scrutiny in this trial.
Objection!
Objection! Well, I don't need evidence, because I was there!
Objection!
Objection! However, the rest of us in this courtroom were not. If the defence fails to provide evidence in support of its rash claim, we shall have no choice but to toast to your incompetence and move on. Evidence that these two fired that gun before they left Windybanks that night.
The court demands that all claims are affirmed with clear proof. What evidence shows that these witnesses unloaded a firearm in the pawnbroker's shop that night?
So, there's ammunition still loaded in 5 of these revolvers' 6 cylinders.
Yes, which tells us that only a single shot has been fired from it.
So where's the third bullet? Where's the third gun even? Exactly.
The bullet that hit Hurley, in fact, isn't it?
Yes, it happened almost as soon as we'd walked in through Windybank's door. Maybe the bullet wasn't lodged in him.
I'll make those brothers pay.
Wait, it's right here.
Take that!
Take that!
The evidence is in this portfolio.
What? What on earth have you there, Counsel?
During the course of our investigations, we discovered a number of bloodstains. Not trusting the police to do their job they're trained to do. How arrogantly Nipponese of you. Well, anyway, we analysed all the blood samples we found and recorded the results in this portfolio.
And you claim to have the evidence the court is demanding therein?
Yes, my lord.
No more dallying then, Counsel. Present the pertinent evidence at once. What do you have in your portfolio that proves these witnesses unloaded a firearm at the scene?
Take that!
Take that! What is that? Explain!
It's a photographic print taken at Windybank's pawnbrokery on the day of the incident.
From the scene of the crime, is it? Is that a bullet hole? And if my eyes do not deceive me, it appears the bullet is still lodged there.
Yes, as your lordship noticed. The bullet pierced Mr. Windybank's calendar. Oh, did the policeman who was staring at it, he was saying about how he didn't want to show it to Gregson because he wants to get off his shift. The date showed being the 16th of April, the very day of the pawnbroker's death.
The incident occurred at 1 hour after midnight. But this indicates that a seventh shot had been fired sometime after the calendar had been set to the 16th.
That's right, and while it isn't irrefutable, the defense believes this is credible evidence that the witnesses did fire a round from their gun in the pawnbroker's that night.
Ah! Order! How does the prosecution stand, Lord Van Zykes?
If that is the direction my learned friend wishes to take, the prosecution has no objection. What? But you'll forgive me for flinging my hallowed chalice aside in disgust at the repugnancy it exposes. Yes, on the night in question, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery illegally. And like the bold baddies they claim to be, opened fire on the new arrivals before fleeing back onto the street.
Hey! Take it easy there, Governor. You're going to land us in the soup. We had a deal. You weren't going to get into them details. Tell him, Sulky. Set the bloke straight. I have nothing to add.
So he knew, did he? Van Zykes knew their testimony would almost certainly expose the extent of their crimes. It would seem now that I owe my learned Nipponese friend a word of gratitude. What do you mean? That's the first time that it's actually been... What do you mean? It's like the meme phrase, right? That in the fan translation there's just loads of it. But that's the first time I've noticed it in the real translation. And I think it's appropriate, huh? What do you mean? What I mean is that you have helpfully confirmed an important fact.
To what fact do you refer, Lord Van Zykes?
As has been established, at the point of their arrest, a single shot had been fired from the brothers' gun. However, if that shot found its target in Mr. Sholmes, then clearly these witnesses cannot be accused of the fatal shooting of the proprietor and victim. In other words, these two men have no material connection to the murder of Mr. Windybank at all. So that's it.
That's it. We didn't have nothing to do with it. We didn't, Ash. We didn't. That's what I reckon.
Your crimes include unlawful entry, intent to steal, perjury, and, let us not forget, attempted murder.
Quite a catalogue, eh, fellas? We're in for it now, bruv.
Now then, let us take a moment to consider the aforementioned great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It would seem the man patronised the pawnbrokers in question somewhat regularly. Where's he going with this? Mr. Sholmes appears to take pleasure in tinkering with eccentric machinery.
Eccentric? Says who?
Not me. Don't give me that look. He installed a pair of machines like this one in the victim's shop. Yeah, I knew this would come up eventually.
Oh! That's one of Hurley's red-handed recorders.
What is that, Count? It has the appearance of a photographic contraption.
As your lordship has surmised, it is indeed a camera attached to a small timing device. Every half an hour, it automatically photographs the interior of the establishment. The idea being that if a thief were to break into the shop, he would be caught red-handed. The prosecution has obtained photographs taken by the device in the night in question. On the night in question. As the court will observe, copious identical prints are produced in quite a desultory fashion. Desultory. In a quite desultory fashion.
Rather prodigal, I feel.
In fact, there are 2 such devices in the victim's shop, my lord. If I may refer the court to the plan of the premises, their respective positions are here and here.
You say these cameras produce a print every half hour. I'm afraid I fail to see how that would help if the anticipated thief conducted his activities in one of the many 30-minute intervals.
Camera intervals. I wonder what other murder-based game contains some problem with camera intervals, though those were of 30 seconds rather than 30 minutes. Were those digital cameras in that strange case in that other game, I wonder? Otherwise, where were the photos stored? On film? Surely the film would have run out if they were taking photos every 30 seconds. Very strange indeed. I just realised that about that game, that shall be remaining unnamed. One can only pray that would-be criminal lingers, my lord. Lingers. Oh my god. Oh my god, how the fuck did I say that wrong? One can only pray that the would-be criminal lingers, my lord. There we go. Holy crap. I bet there's been a few lines like that I just completely fuck up. On the night in question, the witnesses currently in the stand were not caught on camera. You should try reading 5,000 million words. See how many you get wrong. Your future self.
Yeah, that's a bit of fry tuck, eh, bruv? Ladies loves a skulking. Witnesses, at what time did your trespassing begin? Must have been just after 1. Aye, bruv? Must have been that. Yeah, just gone 1.
In which case, minutes before these brothers entered the establishment. What scene might we expect to see within the shop? Let us examine the evidence.
Good lord!
It's
the defendant. Christina Lestrade.
As the court can clearly see, the accused is pictured, gun in hand, facing the victim over the shop counter. The lamp is still there. The print is still there. Interesting. No doubt coercing the proprietor to open the door to his storeroom.
Quite. One can only too easily imagine the events that unfolded. The court will take this photographic print as evidence, if you please, counsel. Ugh.
I don't believe it. Ginny?
In short, the accused is the only person who could possibly have killed Mr. Windybank.
Ugh.
I say, my lord. Jurors?
I say, my lord. Wonder if I might... Bally thing. I wonder if I might put a word in at this point. Go ahead, Mr. Foreman. A bally bullet to the knee in the Battle of Maiwand, 1880. Don't you know? Bally thing. Decorated for it and all that, but forced to retire from service, sadly. Of course, a medal can never outshine the exploits of chaps like us on the battlefield. Yes, Mr. Foreman, and what exactly is your point? Carried on the battle after retirement, you see. The battle of daily life, if you like. And here I am now, leading this small squadron. 6 men, all good and true. We'll all go down together, you mark my words. One for all, and all for one.
The ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached agreement, have they? In what is that what we are to understand?
Well, Mr. Foreman, is that correct? In a manner of speaking, yes. That's the Garrett Squadron's position, sir.
What? No, it's too soon to make a judgment here.
Status report for the court, men. On the double.
His lordship insists on promptitude at all times, and that goes for making decisions too. I think you'll find the trophy's clear as day now, and I could reach out and touch it.
I wouldn't have left it in there. I just wouldn't. In all honesty, I can't actually remember.
Situation clear. Stop. No room for doubt. Stop. It's truth now undeniable. Stop.
I am very sorry for brothers. They are unlucky.
Very well. I now call upon each member of the jury to state his or her leaning in this matter. Announce your considered verdicts to the court.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
It does indeed appear that the jury is unanimous in its leaning already.
That's a photograph. It must be the definitive evidence that Gregson mentioned.
But Ginny didn't shoot him.
No, of course not. My lord, the defence wishes to assert its right to a summation examination, as always.
Very well, the court grants permission.
Oh, back to this song and dance. Ah, you refuse. I know. Van Zyk's being just frustrated and annoyed is just the best thing. I love it. So, you refuse to admit defeat again? How unsurprising.
We shall proceed immediately with the summation examination. Mr. Foreman, are all members of the jury ready?
Absolutely, sir. Always ready for action, my chaps.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty.
All the evidence clearly points to the guilt of this young pickpocketier. Well, I think.
As a housemaid, I should like to see that all filthy eyesores promptly and rigorously eliminated. I think you'll find that if you look at the photograph in the stereo, the trophy will just pop out.
If I have it left in there, I should think that there'll be repercussions by now.
Mind made up. Stop. global radio transmission of verdict to follow. Stop.
In Motherland, we never judge by color, clothes, judge by head. I am convinced brothers are innocent.
The circumstance of the crime and the evidence do indeed implicate the defendant rather comprehensively.
The storeroom, locked from the inside, in which the victim and the accused were discovered alone. And in the accused's hand, a fatal revolver, the firing of which was heard by these witnesses.
Not to mention this print. Take it from a chap who's seen action on the battlefield. That young girl's on the verge of pulling the bally trigger.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Sholmes.
Oh dear, Early's cameras were supposed to help, not hinder.
Have we got all the photos? 1 AM. How did they end up in the storeroom, and how did she pass out? Is the two questions you want to ask. Why is the gas lamp still intact? I wish I could see the other photos.
I'm afraid I think you have an uphill struggle ahead of you.
But Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windyback. Which means there's more to this situation that we've yet to see.
Agreed.
You have the floor, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination.
I learned something about this tune. It repeats this phrase 6 times. One for each juror. And then it plays this bit, the best bit. I can't change the minds of more than half of these 6 jurors. The trial will be over.
But we know that Ginny would never show anyone.
Yes, so we need to find contradictions in what these jurors are saying and pit them against each other. I must be ready to go, to whatever lengths I have to convince them of Gina's innocence.
Hold it!
Hold it! You're Mr. Natsume's landlord, Mr. Karadeb, aren't you? We really must stop meeting like this.
Ah, you're that lawyer chap. Well, let's turn up for the books. Yes, rather a turbulent time we had back then.
Some extraordinary events took place at your house, that's for sure. Luckily, Mr. Sholmes and I were able to get to the bottom of it all. I think we did rather a lot for you, didn't we? I mean, obviously. I wouldn't be suggesting that therefore you should change your leaning to a not guilty or anything.
Can't be denied, I suppose. The curse of the Garrett house was the talk of the town after that business. Lodgers moved out and I couldn't get a bally soul to take up the tenancies.
Oh.
Haven't had the heart to break the news to Joni yet. Bad enough that the old girl's clapped up. Yes, can't be denied. You did do rather a lot. And not for us, that's for dash certain.
I suppose not.
Of course. There can be no suggestion of that being the reason I'm leaning towards guilty here, obviously.
Obviously, but honestly. I really wish he'd pay more attention to the trial, and less to juror number 2. Because he wants his own maid.
As a housemaid, I shall like to see all filthy eyesores promptly and rigorously eliminated.
Hold it!
Hold it! Polishing the bench, I see. Again.
The maid's work is never done. Not a blemish must remain.
What exactly do you mean by filthy eyesores?
On my way to market for his lordship, I have to pass through the East End. This place is full of beggars, pickpursers, and crossmen, the scum of the earth.
A little harsh, perhaps?
Let me be plain. If it were up to me, all those black slums would be made spick and span or eradicated. At least we have people like the great detective working to achieve these important goals.
You're referring to Mr. Herlock Sholmes?
That's right. I like to keep abreast of his exploits by reading Rand's magazine in between my duties. He does wonders cleaning up London streets. In my opinion, he should be declared an honorary maid of the capital.
Mr. Sholmes, a maid?
It's really quite unforgivable. Gutter scum having the audacity to shoot our very greatest detective.
Minor detail. It was the 2 brothers in the stand who shot Mr. Sholmes, not the defendant.
Minor detail indeed. They're all gutter scum as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it might just be an idea to get our facts straight anyway.
Yes, all right. I shall amend my statement. Those brothers are the scum of the earth. They should swing for shooting the great detective.
Swing. I said that wrong. Whatever. So that got updated, which means...
Hold it!
Press it again. Hold it! I agree with you. The shooting of Mr. Sholmes was an unforgivable act. The purpose of this trial is to determine who shot the pawnbroker, Mr. Windybank.
I'm afraid you're splitting hairs, sir.
Sorry?
Whether it was thieves or the pickpurse, it was still gutter trash that shot the pawnbroker in the end. Filth that should be cleaned up and eradicated, in my considered opinion.
Thanks so much for sharing. Changing this maid's mind isn't going to be easy.
Oh no, it was one of those 2 brothers that shot Hurley, wasn't it?
Yes, without question.
Well then, I'll never forgive them.
Oh, Iris.
Perhaps we can use this maid's statement to help us somehow. You think?
Yes, maybe. Let's listen carefully to what each juror has to say first.
Hold it!
Hold it! What do you mean? Look at the photograph in stereo.
Sorry, what? Don't you know? If you look at the photographic print normally, it looks as though the pickpocket girl is about to shoot the victim, obviously.
Wait, in stereo? This ain't a stereographic photo, right? Right?
Objection!
Objection! There's no indication that the defendant ever fired the gun.
All I'm saying is, if you look at the same print in stereo, it could reveal all sorts of new information.
By any chance, are you a fan of stereoscopes?
Oh, how did you know?
Let's call it a lucky guess.
If it gets old, seeing the 2 prints merge into one before your eyes. It's extraordinary. It's captivating. It's the height of modernity.
Of course.
Oh yes, I think you'll find the stereoscope is here to stay. Giving us new perspectives we could only dream of before. It's the greatest invention the world has ever seen.
Only it could give me a new perspective on this case, I might agree with you. Maybe he's trying to hint me that there's some issue with the depth on this image. Maybe the gun isn't in her hand. I don't see how it couldn't be. Is there any possibility that the gun isn't in her hand, say? I just realised there's something else I need to note down on my list of odd little things that are yet to come up. Mason's missing button. I'm trying to think, how can this photo not be what it looks like? I don't know. Hold it! What exactly have you been muttering about all this time, sir? You keep talking about having left something somewhere or something like that.
Oh, so sorry. As you can probably tell, I'm a surgeon.
A surgeon? That totally passed me by.
Of course, people conducting surgery in this country aren't considered to be doctors. Oh no. Even though me and my kind are at the forefront of medical science, the real brains of the field.
So what is it you think you've left behind?
Well, that's a little embarrassing to be honest. You see, I was operating on somebody yesterday, shows. Then the thing went in through the abdomen. But when I'd finished the procedure, I couldn't find my scalpel anywhere.
What? Did he? Surely not.
Exactly. Surely not, you say to yourself, don't you? Worrying, isn't it? That's what's been troubling me this whole time. Could I really have left my scalpel inside the fellow's belly? No, of course I couldn't. Oh, there you have it. Like I said, a little bit embarrassing, really.
That's one way of putting it. The other is manslaughter.
That's exactly my concern. And seeing as this case appears to be all but sewn up, I need to focus on trying to remember exactly what I've sewn up elsewhere. Now, I'm sure I made sure everything was back as it should be. Well, as sure as you can be, without being sure.
I'm sure you need to be more sure. How could that possibly... Maybe there's excuse me.
Hold it!
Hold it! Sorry, radio transmission? What do you mean?
Are you from the Far East? Stop.
Yes, from the Empire of Japan.
All communication with Far Eastern nations used to take place by mail. Royal Mail steamers take more than a month to complete the journey. Oh. But now we have the electric telegram, so we can send messages using electrical signals. Thousands of miles of cables have been laid along the ocean beds, connecting the entire world.
Thousands of miles of cable on the ocean bed. It makes my head hurt just thinking about it.
Oh, you are well informed, young lady. But cables will soon become a thing of the past.
And just when I was starting to catch up.
Radio transmission is the future. Messages carried over the airways to four corners of the globe. Stop. Excitement growing. Stop. Atmosphere electric. Stop.
Right. Try not to wear out your fingers.
Era of wireless telegraphy. Stop. Driving technological revolution. Stop. And people say inventions like the stereoscope are the height of technology. What utter piffle. Oh, I can't understand it. I really can't. They're just silly toys.
Don't spare any feelings, will you? It's not like there's anyone here who likes stereoscopes. So, why exactly do you think that the defendant is guilty?
Oh, it's quite simple. We haven't been shown a scrap of evidence to suggest that she isn't the culprit. And just as radio waves dash through the skies faster than the eye can see, we should dash to the conclusion. So we should dash to the conclusion of this trial and stop pandering to an indecision. Hold it. God damn it. Ah.
Hold it!
Hold it.
Okay, wait for her to be mad. Excuse me. Juror number 3. Sorry to interrupt when you're obviously fuming, but... What?
What?
Do you perhaps have something to say about juror number 5's last remark? As if I couldn't guess.
Oh, you better. Oh, you better do. Say that again. Go on. I dare you. Goodness, are you talking to me?
I think he just might be, yes.
You think stereoscopes just toys, do ya? Huh? Absolutely. I mean, really? A machine to view photographs in 3 dimensions? Why on earth would you not just use your eyes to look at the world around you? It's all 3-dimensional.
It's a great way to appease the man.
No, I'm sorry. Stereoscopes are of no practical use at all. You just don't know. Pardon? Oh, I think you'll find that viewing a photograph through a stereoscope can unlock all sorts of possibilities. I'm obviously going to have to demonstrate.
What sort of possibilities?
Well, take a crime scene for example. If you had a pair of photographs from a crime scene that you could view through a stereoscope, it could reveal hidden clues you'd never even noticed before.
What?
Have you got any, Rono? Any prints we could look at with a stereoscope?
No, I don't think so. None spring to mind, anyway.
Well, if you find any, we should definitely try it.
I don't think we're just going to find prints of the crime scene lying around, you know. I suppose if we somehow find ourselves with some, it could be worth a go.
Hold it!
Hold it.
Please tell me you're not Villain Bolshevik. The Russian revolutionary.
Revolutionary?
Duh, I believe there is such a rumor.
It's just a rumor.
As you see, I have unfortunate appearance. I look like a vicious criminal.
Your words, not mine. I don't just want to point that out.
People call me a revolutionary, murderer, autocrat.
And which glove fits?
Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please.
Right, that didn't sound staged at all. You'll forgive me for having my doubts.
To be treated like a vicious criminal all the time, it is very painful.
People do not realize.
I have much sympathy for these brothers. People say they are criminals only because of how they look.
The Skulkin brothers?
Duh, maybe they went inside pawnbroker's shop. But they have done nothing wrong. That is what I want to say.
The Skulkin brothers did nothing wrong that night. Alright, well first of all, that's one not so little misunderstanding I'll need to clear up straight away. Tell me something, Iris.
What is it, Rono?
The jurors are chosen at random from the inhabitants of London town, aren't they?
Yes, it's amazing, isn't it?
In that case, how is it that there's a Russian tourist sitting among them, who looks for all the world like a revolutionary?
Oh, I wish I knew.
If I can't change the minds of more than half of these 6 jurors, the trial will be over. So 2 and 6, and then a photograph. I'll do 2 and 6. Objection!
Objection!
Those two statements clearly contradict with each other.
Good Lord! Counsel, explain yourself.
Oh my! Oh my statement contradictory.
Contradict. C-O-N. Juror number 6, you've got the wrong end of the stick. I do not have stick, I have mouse. As juror number 2 said earlier, what the hell is this music? When the skulking brothers fled the scene on the night in question, they fired a shot from their revolver.
Oh, yes, they shot poor Mr. Sholmes in the abdomen, I understand.
Surely you're not going to tell the court now that you didn't hear? Abdomen. Sir? Sorry. My English is still learning. You are telling the courts you didn't hear? Forgive me, I did not hear. Here is word. Abdomen. Part of person's body, containing stomach and other vital for organs. Is this what you mean? You should say in plain English, I am Russian, not native speaker. You thought it was a good idea to let this man be on the jury again. So, you are telling me these brothers who look like criminals were lying. They said before, we never done nothing, but truth is, they shot detective. This is double negative. Yes, that's exactly right. Lying is wrong, especially when lie is said by person who looks like criminal. Coming from you, that seems surprisingly prejudiced. This means, when they said, we never talk nothing, maybe it was also big fat lie. Is this true? Well, according to the police report, no stolen goods were found, so... Enough! I trust no one now! It's not the mouse's fault though, sir. I must see with own eyes. Must investigate crime scene myself. I'm afraid that won't be possible.
Yes, it is, Rono. Easily.
Sorry?
With the prints from Hurley's red-handed recorder. If you compare the print that pictures Jenny and the next print from half an hour later, you'll be able to say straight away if anything was taken or not. Cooey, Mr. Prosecutor?
Tut. Calling on the prosecution in the middle of a summation examination of all times. The print showing the accused threatening the victim after she broke into the shop is this one. Following this, the victim and the accused moved into the storeroom. Meanwhile, the skulking brothers entered the shop and summarily heard the fatal gunshot ring out. Sadly, none of these events were captured on film. This is the print produced by the camera half an hour later, after the brothers' flight.
So this was taken after Hurley was shot then? As far as I can tell. Nothing has been taken.
That does seem to be the case. Can't notice anything that's obviously missing in the second print. Wait, are they misaligned? So, the brothers who looked like criminals told only one lie. They shot men, but they stole nothing. It seems so, yes. Good. No, not good. You were right. I did not understand the situation. Now I know brothers have lied. I think it's very important to continue with trial.
Yay! Well done, Runo. The balance is shifting.
Well, it's a start, I suppose. There must be more in what these jurors are saying I can use to expose the truth. And if I can do that, we might just turn the situation to our favour still.
Thank you, Counsel. Continue with the summation examination. And kindly hand that new photographic print to the bailiff to be filed as evidence.
Another print in the court record. I wonder if we can make use of that.
Verdict. In Lake of Lies are many dead fish. We must find truth. Therefore, I say not guilty verdict.
That thing on the end of the table has moved. And the lamp is broken. I can't, like, make them go back side by side other than doing that, eh? Ah. Looks slightly darker, as you'd expect in a second.
The wall looks like it's shifted a bit.
Maybe the camera was bodged a bit. Okay, well, we know what to do.
Hold it!
Excuse me.
How about this print here? It should do the trick, I think.
Take that!
Take that! Alright then, juror number 3. Are you saying you can do this with any 2 suitable photographic prints?
Of course I can.
Very well then, I'd like you to demonstrate.
I'd be delighted to. Just give me one more print and I'll amaze you all. Oh my god, there could be a secret if I give him these 2. That would be so funny. No, I don't want to do it right. I want to do it wrong. Do it wrong. I want to see what happens if I give him the other 2. Wait, sorry? What do you mean? One more print? Oh dear. Don't you have these in the Far East? Don't you know how a stereoscope works? Bruno? What? I explained this to you just yesterday. You need 2 photographs for a stereoscope, remember? I want to give him these 2. You know, one for the left eye and one for the right.
Oh yes, I remember now. The print we have from the pawnbrokery is just a normal photograph.
No. I think you'll find. The clue is in the name. It's a stereoscope, not a monoscope. You always need 2 prints.
Thanks for the friendly explanation.
Well, if we obtain another print at some point later in the trial, we can always show it to this young man then.
I think you'll find that know-it-all expression is really starting to annoy me.
Let's get things back on track, shall we, Counsel?
Wait, that changed the statement.
Hold it!
Didn't really show up new clues though.
Don't know unless you try.
Well, this print here should do the trick, I think. Just...
Take that!
I was wrong. I can't actually think of anything we could use at all.
What? Really? Oh dear, I think I maybe need to have a stereoscopic look at your brain sometime.
that's supposed to mean? Okay, game, I'll do it right.
Hold it!
This is the one I presented the first time,
Take
so
that!
that's what he wants. Oh, is it just doing that? Okay, I understand.
Take that!
Alright, these two prints were both taken with the same camera in Windy Banks on the night in question.
Oh, yes, I say. Tell me, Mr. Lawyer. Do you know how stereographic images work? You understand the principle?
Well, I think so. Did have a lesson only yesterday. Got it to work. And then your brain merges the two images together inside your head. Notice the shift as if it were depth.
Yes, exactly. Oh, yes, exactly. It's that small shift between certain objects in the two pictures that's really important.
So what happens if you use two photographs that are exactly the same then?
No, obviously that wouldn't work at all. Not for saying the same three-dimensionally, anyway. Oh! Of course, now I see.
Oh, I think the young girl has discovered the secret.
I have.
Can you uncross your eyes before you tell me?
Have a look at these two pictures from Hurley's camera, Runo. Go on. Can you see that there's a really obvious difference between them?
I tried to line up the two books just to see if it did do anything, but of course there is. There are two people in the first and no people in the second.
Well, yes, you can see that straight away. Now, try looking at the pictures in 3 dimensions.
Alright, I'll give it a go. Wait, you're telling me that I can, and it does work? Alright, game, I'll give it another go. It's sort of, I don't know. So, to start with, you have to cross your eyes and then try to make the two pictures overlap exactly. I love that Shizukumi is making the player do this. I'll try one more time in case it does stick out to me. And I mean, you can just tell that it is the book and the doll. Oh, okay, no. It is the book and the doll. Let's see if by crossing my eyes I can make the quill pens from each picture overlap in the middle. Okay, Ryunosuke, fine, I'll do it one more time. God damn it. Wait.
Well, did you manage to say it properly, Bruno?
I think so. Ah! What's going on with these two pictures? Some of the things on the counter they sort of jump out at you.
I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. Oh my god, I want the Van Zyke shoving the thing in his face. And the judge. Oh, I love this game.
Oh yes, that's it, you see. That's the other amazing power of the stereoscopes. Other amazing power?
I love this game. I love this game.
Oh, bally thing. Is someone going to explain this black magic, eh? Why the deuce do some of the things on the counter seem to jump out at you like that,
I think you'll find that if you consider the basic principle of the stereoscope, you'll answer your own question. Basic principles of the stereoscope. As I said before, if you try to look at two identical pictures using a stereoscope, it won't work at all. If it's the slight shift in the positions of certain objects that lets you see the pictures three-dimensionally.
In other words, even though at first glance it seems the objects on the counter haven't moved at all between the two pictures. I'm going to do it one more time now that the game has said how it should look. I did get it to work at one point, but I can't do it now. Ugh. Rest my eyes. This shows that actually there must have been a slight shift in their positions.
I knew that this would be relevant in the trial somehow, but
I don't understand the implication of this.
yes, there must have been.
Look at him standing there with his arms.
Now, all fire there, sir. Got reasonable grafts for this old cross-eyed business now, I'd say. But why the devil does this shift between the two prints exist in the first place? Well, what's the answer, fellow? Come on, you're the cross-eyed master.
What? Me? I haven't the first idea.
You know, Bruno, it's quite simple.
It is?
Just think it through, step by step. The first photograph was taken at 1 AM. Then, 30 minutes later, the second photograph was taken. But the position of some items on the counter seems to have shifted slightly in the interim. So that means
that sometime in the half-hour interval, someone must have tampered with things on the counter.
Zukas!
someone tampered. New information. Stop. Not mentioned in the testimony so far. Stop.
Yes. We've had to go around in circles a little here, it seems. I'm starting to see what I should be aiming at in this summation examination now. Ladies and gentlemen, the question is now clear. We know the items on the countertop were moved, but by whom?
Are you suggesting you might know?
Of course. I can tell you right now who is responsible for the almost imperceptible shift in the items on the counter. Lord Strongheart. Let me read all the profiles again. How's this guy going to be relevant? He has to be. He's an associate of McGilded. Take that! It was the witnesses currently in the stand. The Skulkin brothers. Wait. This does not agree with what brothers said in testimony before. They said they did not even have time to pull jukes from Lady Lockets. My phrasebook says jukes is meaning hands, and Lucy Lockets is meaning pockets. But is this another lie? Is this what you are saying? Yes, I'm afraid so.
Now, hold on there a minute. You can't be sure of that.
I quite agree. The accused is a common pig purse, after all. It's perfectly possible that she went through the things on the desk to see what she might steal.
I think that's unlikely.
And why exactly?
As you can see from this photographic print, the defendant was pointing a gun at the victim. It would seem, as my learned friend indicated, she was coercing Mr. Windybank to open the storeroom door. In other words, Miss Lestrade's interests lay within the storeroom, not in the main shop, giving her no reason to touch anything on the counter. All of which points to one thing. The Skulkin brothers have admitted key facts in their testimony.
But the accused is pig purse, common gutter trash. Why look any further for the wrongdoer here?
Because the Skulkin brothers are thieves, madam. No better, in fact worse, than a pig purse. Da-da-da. I believe that these brothers were looking for something on the victim's counter that night. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you would condemn the defendant on the grounds that she's a pickpocket, it would not at least be right and proper to thoroughly scrutinise testimony given against her by two thieves.
Well said. I, for one, would like to hear more from that shady pair.
Why is he holding his hands like that? Is there something on the front of his hands, like blood or something? Oh, I see. I understand why he's holding his hands like that and how it's relevant. At some point in the trial, we're going to ask him to turn his hands around. It's going to have blood. Iris is going to go poof at her, and it's going to be green. Green. When we need to prove that it shows his blood.
Then you all say now? I think you'll find stereoscopes aren't playthings.
You've seen their extraordinary potential firsthand.
Wholeheartedly agree. Stop. Must purchase after the trial. Stop. We'll return home via Regent Street. Stop.
Well, it would seem this trial has yet to run its course. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury have declared their inclinations by the mighty scales of justice. I hereby call this summation examination to conclusion, with the balance altered in the defendant's favour. 2 lean to guilty, 4 lean to not guilty. Accordingly, the jury is without consensus. And I order this trial to continue.
Yay! Well done. Oh, by the way,
What?
you should hold on to this, Bruno. You never know when it might come in useful.
Twice in one trial would be unusual, surely. But all right. Stereoscopes in the court record.
Lord Van Shikes, you will instruct the witnesses that the court demands additional testimony from them.
Oh my fucking god, this goddamn lawyer and his stupid summation examinations. They get on my nerves. I'm sure it won't spoil the bouquet or to do so, my lord. I've won myself another chance to probe that pair about their activities. On that night, at least. And I won't stop probing them until I've proven Gina is innocent. That's going to be where I end this stream. Overwrite the saved data. And I'm done. I'll read the first line maybe.
Order, please. Order, please. Order, please. Let us resume proceedings in the evening of today. That is me done.
Oh wow. All of a sudden I'm plunged into darkness on the screen. Got a light in front of me too. Oh wow. The sun is clearly doing its thing. And this webcam is also very good at adjusting to the light level when I do this. It's a very weird feature. Okay, whatever. If I sit like this, it works. But yeah, until next time.